Hello everybody and welcome to Love, Money, and Rock and Roll. And this is a visual novel that I found. It's a demo on itch.io, and the visuals really intrigued me and the concept really intrigued me because it's supposed to be a visual novel set in the 80s. It's set in Japan, so it has a lot of the usual visual novel graphics to it that have that style, but I was really curious. This is currently in development and I wanted to see what the demo had to offer, so I hope you would join me for the ride. Here we go. New game. Let's see what you have in store. The March or May 3rd, 1986 or March 5th, one or the other. Not sure. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I love it. It's just adorable. That's beautiful. These falling sakura petals. Sakura is a Japanese cherry blossom, if you didn't know. Does anyone actually find them beautiful? Does anyone actually find meaning in how they twirl around? Maybe it's the colors, the purple velvet against the setting sun, that we find mesmerizing. Back then, looking at the falling petals, I probably used to believe that as well. I think too much time has passed. I have forgotten, and I have changed. Only the trees are still the same. It's not like they care. They were born before I was, and they will outlive my descendants. They don't mind. They don't care about the beauty of the falling petal, its velocity, tilt, or vector. Why would they care about such trivialities? For them, this is merely a routine change of seasons. But for me, it's a flood of memories. Oh, and it's so pretty! The tree in front of me looks identical to how it did back then. The day I had to do something and the day it was too late to do anything. It looked the same. The petals were falling the same way, with treacherous indifference. After all, they really didn't care. They don't give a damn whether some photographer will turn pictures of them into an entire exhibit, or whether some loving couple will perhaps fall even deeper in love after basking in their total dance. But that's how nature is. That's not how I am. Just like on that day 1 year ago, the petals were falling back then as well. Back then, nature was also, no, not dying, but falling asleep, so that come spring, it could kindle its flame, the flame of life, anew. Sitting under this tree, I remember. I remember all the happiness, I remember all the sadness. Do you really love me? Yes. Really? Yes. She turned away, yet the petals kept falling, tangling themselves in her hair and making her even more beautiful. You know, sakura petals look good on you. She turned around, probably without wanting to. She was probably waiting for something more. A charming phrase, some clever words, anything but this. Really? Yes, of course. She smiled. I was probably waiting for something else too. Feelings, confessions, as beautiful as a fluttering petal. Back then, those words were more important to me than anything else. More important than that tree, more important than that moment, more important than life. I finally understood that those words were much like those petals, but resting in my hands instead of falling on the ground. So close, so fragile, so precious. Would they the word I love you? December 6, 1987 or June 12th, 1987. Probably June, telling by outside. I woke up. As usual, the fan was humming detestably. Its noise was probably what woke me up. It was a necessary evil. In the summer heat, not even open doors would do. It was 3 a.m. and the silence was hideous. Dear God, give me anything. A police siren, some noisy drunk neighbors, or the screeching wheels of a speeding car. Anything but this detestable hum of a fan. I would have turned it off long ago if it didn't mean letting this heat cook me alive. Yeah, summer in Japan is far worse than winter in Russia. I live in Houston, so I totally understand that. With some effort, I got up and went to the kitchen to get some water. Although What is winter in Russia like? The floorboards creak softly under my feet. The rest of the house, 3 bedrooms and a living room if we don't count the pantries and the bathroom, was sound asleep, not paying any mind to its single inhabitant. It was 3 a.m. on the dot. I gulped the water down greedily, spilling most of it over myself. So, tomorrow I have to go to school. Actually, do I really have to? Says who? Maybe I was the one to come up with these dumb responsibilities and duties for myself. This need to communicate with people and to await the day when I'll be given a useless sheet of paper showing me to be in possession of an average intelligence. I probably made up this world as well. I made it up alongside all the other worlds I have to make up every day. For myself, for the people I know, and for the whole world. I have to adapt to the stupid conditions of one of these worlds, the one that, by great misfortune, is considered real by most people. I poured myself another glass of water and headed back to bed. The moon was shining brightly, highlighting every mote of dust. In its almost mournful light, my room looked completely unlike itself, like a portal to another world. A world that even I couldn't make up. The silver light fell on the desk, slowly crawling towards the pile of papers. Class notes, an unfinished novel, letters from Mom, from friends in Russia, and... I stood up and put the heap of papers away into a drawer. Has it been a year since it arrived? Or... why do I even have to care? On the other hand, why was it lying on the table in the first place? I should have thrown it out a long time ago. I leapt up, took a step towards the desk, and froze. But how? I've already tried, more than once. The telephone rang loudly. Very loudly. 3 a.m. Who could possibly need a miserable student mired in self-reflection at this hour? Well, I'm used to it. You got drunk friends, too? Hello? Hello. Are you awake? What do you think? I just wanted to hang up and disconnect the phone, but not as much as I wanted her to be here right now, next to me. Why are you awake? 'Cause you f***ing woke me up with the loud-ass telephone. What do you think? How should I know? Probably because you've called me. Da-da! She muttered something inaudible. How are things anyway? How are they supposed to be at 3 a.m. anyway? I like this guy. He's snarky. Well, I don't know. Perfect. Then they're perfect. Don't mock me. Don't call me at 3 a.m. Then what did you want to hear? Just a call. You mean it's normal to call someone at 3 a.m.? I saw that your kitchen light was on. Stalker! So I knew you weren't asleep. Are you spying on me? This guy and I. Man, we... same wavelength, he and I, man. No, well... The receiver fell silent for a few moments. She was probably thinking up something that didn't sound too silly. I just couldn't sleep either. Why either? What if I was asleep? But you're not asleep. Alright, let's try this again. What do you want? I wanted to know. She stopped mid-sentence, as if to gather courage, and then continued, this time with confidence. Are you going to be at school tomorrow? What if I will? Then I'll stop by tomorrow. Thanks, that's just what I needed. It's 3 a.m. and you're offering to stop by. When? In 3 hours? Well, yeah, so you won't be late. You know, in that case, I think I'll unfortunately have to decline. You can't keep skipping classes, you'll end up dropping out. And then you won't find a good job, and then... Her predictions of my future were completely off the mark. That's not a big loss. What do you mean, no loss? Don't lock the door tomorrow morning. You have the keys. What does it matter if I lock the door? Oh, right. Well, see you tomorrow then. See you. I decided not to argue. I simply didn't feel like it. What would be the point anyway? She'd come and wake me up either way, as is the case almost every day. Why did I ever give her my keys? Well, that was a while ago. About a year ago, I think. Sakura petals were probably falling on that day too. To hell with those petals. I need to set my alarm clock so I can wake up before she arrives. It's not all that important, I'm just tired of her waking me up. And not only tired, after seeing that familiar face before me each morning, I might have gotten too used to it. Maybe I've even become dependent. I certainly couldn't let that happen. If she wanted to come by in the morning, be my guest, but I wouldn't let her wake me up anymore. Meanwhile, that means I get to sleep a little extra time, then so be it. September 8th, 1987. The ringing of 100 bells in my head, each one playing a different melody, announced the arrival of a new morning. Accompanying them was cheerful birdsong, the construction site a street over, the lively voices of street peddlers, the incessant hum of that god-forsaken fan, and nearby disgruntled grunts. Oh, hi! An icy glare from two giant green eyes, puffed out cheeks, and two red pigtails. I had definitely overslept. What time is it? The girl picked up my alarm clock and shoved it in my face. But it's still early, I protested. The early bird gets the worm. This is Himitsu. I've known her for all my life, I think. At the very least, I've known her ever since I moved to Japan with my parents. Himitsu's mother was Russian, but she and her father divorced back when we were still little. Come on, enough lazing about. Get up, wash up, eat your breakfast, and let's head for school. This was my start to almost every day. After all these years, I was used to it. Oh, right, I should introduce myself. My name is Nikolai, and I'm a high school senior. Nico-kun. Kun is a Japanese honorific, used when addressing male friends or juniors/subordinates. Himitsu's voice carried throughout the entire house. Suddenly it wasn't so empty and lonely here. I quickly washed myself, dressed, and headed for the kitchen. Naturally, this house was too large for just one person. After all, it was designed for a multi-generational family. Grandpa, grandma, mom, dad, kids, grandkids. Its emptiness was weighing me down on me even when my parents were still here. But now, I definitely felt like I was living in a museum or a library. Who in their right mind would live here alone? Enjoy your breakfast! You too. Fried eggs and several types of vegetable salads were displayed on the table. I lazily moved a piece of cucumber around with my chopsticks. You're not hungry? I am, but I'm no cow to feed on grass. Himitsu frowned. So, you think those instant noodles are better? I don't know about better, but definitely tastier. Hey! She puffed out her cheeks, similar to a hamster. I tried really hard. KO. I had nothing to retort with, so I focused on eating. What are you planning to do this afternoon? I don't know. I think Kiyosuke wanted to go to the movies. Why? Do you want to do something? She set down her chopsticks and looked at me as if she was to say something important. Maybe. And then she started laughing, trying to hide her embarrassment. Never mind, it's not important. Himitsu is in love with me. I figured that out a long time ago, but I never did anything about it. At some point, I became so used to it that I no longer knew whether she loved me as a brother or as a man. And honestly, I didn't care. If you want to go somewhere, I can reschedule the movie. Kiyosuke can see it by himself just fine. Their face gleamed with a sincere smile. Actually, I wanted to stop by the store that opened recently near the station. The girls in class have been talking about it non-stop these days. Perhaps anyone else in my place would have considered this a date. But I simply enjoyed spending time with Himitsu. In any case, she also seemed quite satisfied with this arrangement. You haven't finished eating? Nor was I going to. What if I had to eat this grass for lunch, too? Why can't you just make some pelmeni or borscht for once? That's not breakfast. And I did make them before. Himitsu got offended. She did, yeah, but they were nothing like how they were in my childhood. I didn't have the guts to tell her that. It's one thing to know how not... It's one thing to not know how to do something. It's always possible to learn. It's another thing altogether to know something and to do it, but to achieve an unexpected result. If that's the case, there's a chance you will never learn. Sorry. Your borscht is delicious. Borscht. Yeah, borscht. I repeated. Himitsu glared at me. Anyone else in her place would have poured this imaginary borscht over my head a long time ago. What was that store you mentioned? A clothing store, she replied, her eyes still boring into me. Dresses, sweaters, skirts, clothing, women's... Maybe you're better off going with one of your female friends? I'm not refusing, of course, but it would be a bit awkward. Why? I don't know. That's how it is here. You know I'm not too good with local customs. And that was the honest truth. Most people would have long gotten used to the Japanese way of life, its traditions and societal customs, or at least to the customs of the local high schoolers. Well, nobody's going to think anything like that. It's not like we're... Himitsu became utterly embarrassed, which in turn seemed to anger her. I wasn't even sure who she was angry with, me or her own self. Sometimes when I would talk to her, and not only her, I would reach an impasse. I wouldn't understand what was expected of me, and the person I was talking with wouldn't understand why I didn't understand. And so the meaning of the conversation would become buried under a heap of misunderstandings that would grow in size with every phrase. In moments like these, it was easier to stay silent or to agree. Alright, fine. Nobody will think of anything. Why would they? Exactly, Himitsu said triumphantly and left to watch the dishes. I believe that in Russia, this kind of weather in early autumn is known as Grandma's Summer. Grandma's Summer is the Russian equivalent to Indian Summer. Whatever the case, the summer heat was yet to leave Japan at this time of year. Himitsu walked silently beside me with a smile on her face. I threw glances her way from time to time, trying to figure out what was on her mind. Not that I was particularly interested, I just didn't want to think about myself. The image of falling sakura petals kept surfacing in my mind, dragging up unhappy memories alongside it. Yet Himitsu would never bring it up. Did she want to avoid reopening the wound, or was she simply being tactful? This is Earth to Niku-kan. Do you copy? Over? Huh? What? It seemed I got completely lost in thought. We're almost there, and you're still falling asleep. Himitsu frowned. Usually her grumpiness looks funny rather than scary. I'm not falling asleep. I'm pondering questions of universal scope. Such as... She started laughing. Political ones? Even better, geopolitical ones. Who will ponder them, if not me? You don't have the grades of a future politician. That's not important. Many great people were mediocre in school, like Einstein. Right. Himitsu grinned. We would have likely continued with our small talk, were it not for a commotion at the school gate. A bunch of people surrounded a girl. From this distance, I couldn't recognize her. Look, Himitsu said quietly, slowing her pace. I started listening. She probably wears the same skirt all year round. No, it must be a hand-me-down from her sister. Who lets shabby students like this into our school? Do they just allow anyone to attend these days? Go sell fish at the market. Be careful, or just might catch something from her. It's not like I intended, with her. That's probably how she spends her nights there to make cash. Poor girl. Himitsu stopped for a moment. Isn't she in your class? I took a closer look. She may be right. I think so. Are you saying you don't even know who your classmates are? You really don't learn sometimes. I'll be completely honest. Of course I do. Hakahita Iwamura. I fixed my hair and looked at Himitsu triumphantly. She was unimpressed. She's also our class president. Himitsu still stared at me with reproach. What? I've never really talked with her. And this is the first year she's in my class anyway. So I've only known her for half a year. Is that me over there? Is that who I am? I got that silver locks and everything? I haven't seen me yet, so... The fight, if you could call it that, was gaining momentum. The girl remained stubbornly quiet, merely lowering her head more and more. This only gave more power to her abusers. Come on, who would pay- Whoa, hello. That's a whole nother discussion entirely. That's, whoa, way inappropriate. Who would pay for her anyway? Maybe for a few hundred yen. My god, you assholes. Person speaking demonstratively opened a wallet full of bills, took out a few of them, and waved them in front of Iwamura's nose. This is a new low, I muttered to myself. Meanwhile, the students walking past were acting as if nothing was happening. Again with those stupid customs. How can I do this? Nico-kun, don't. Let's just tell the teacher. Himitsu lightly pulled on my sleeve. What will he do? Scold them? My, aren't you ashamed of yourselves? Pfft. I began losing my temper. Thinking about it, why do I care? She's a classmate. So what? I had yet to ever talk to her. On the other hand, it was hard to watch one poor girl get bullied by a whole herd. Yeah, let's step in. Oh, look at me, look at the cute little girl. Oh, she's so adorable. Why would I stay on the sidelines? What if Himitsu was in her place? We, too, are far from being the richest in the school, after all. Sorry. Himitsu only gave a slight smile in reply. Hey! I shouted, walking confidently towards them. Leave her alone. At first, they just looked at me in surprise. Iwamura did not react at all, simply continuing to examine the ground. Oh, you guys are a bunch of ugly mudsuckers, I can tell you that. Whew, what the hell? What happened here? Of course, that was kind of 80s, but damn. I mean, that's... Nope, that's a dick on your head. That's what that is. That's pretty much a dick on your head. Yeah. Okay, then. And who are you? What do you care? Go on your way. Their tone was challenging, but it only made me all the more confident. 4-on-1 isn't too fair, don't you think? What, do you want to join in? Two guys stepped forward, cracking their knuckles. Seems that they know how to throw more than just words. What are you gonna do, hero? One of them grinned. Yeah, what? Honestly, I didn't know either. I just felt compelled by a sense of justice to stand up for Iwamura. Because here, we're not supposed to act this way, while back there, it's accepted to help close ones in need. But real life isn't like manga or anime, nor do I have any superpowers. Well, you're going to find out, mister. I walked right up to one of them and froze. What now? However, the guy clearly got confused and staggered back. Who do you think you are? At that moment, another guy walked up to me, clearly intending to push me away. My reflexes responded quicker than my thoughts. One swing of the arm, followed by the crunch of the attacker's jaw, and everything stopped around me. A surprised expression froze on the girls' faces. Iwamura was looking at me in surprise, and even the guy I just punched seemed surprised. But it only lasted for a moment. You! Don't you know who my father is? One of the girls screamed. Quiet, let's go. He's obviously insane. Her friend calmed down. Another guy helped the hurt one up get back up. This isn't over. We will remember you. With these words, they quickly walked away from the school. At the same moment, Himitsu ran up to me. Nico-kun, are you alright? Yeah, of course, I replied calmly while examining my slightly swollen fist. Strangely, I wasn't shaking from the adrenaline, as I should have been. I guess it had all happened too suddenly. Iwamura-senpai? Senpai is Japanese honorific, used when addressing upperclassmen or older/more experienced coworker. And all of this turmoil had completely forgotten about the person at its root. She stood in silence, looking at us with a frown. Are you alright? Fights are forbidden on the school grounds, she said quietly. What? I broke out in a dumb smile and looked at Himitsu. She looked just as confused as I was. I'm saying that there's no need to get into a fight. If you hadn't noticed, I was kind of protecting you. They would have left me alone either way. Iwamura looked up at me, her eyes flashing. After a few seconds of silence, she once again regained her air of indifference. They always leave me alone in the end. In any case, you could at least say thanks. It's common decency. I was becoming more angry than I was a minute ago. And that's not only here, it's anywhere. In the whole world. Iwamura merely raised her chin, snorted, and quickly made her way toward the school gates. Damn, really? I can't believe this. I told you not to get involved, Himitsu quietly said. But you acted like a real hero. A hero? Yeah, right. Where have you ever seen a hero like this? At least in the movies that get thanked for the rescue. But you didn't do it for the gratitude, right? Himitsu continued to smile, and I got embarrassed. We'll see what kind of gratitude I'll get from the teachers, I grumbled. Anyway, let's go. I'm really kind of curious where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna stop it right here. If you would like me to pick back up with this game, let me know in the comments below. I think this is a really good start. I really love the graphics. I think they're absolutely on point. I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. But there are a few things like, I haven't really seen me yet. So I'd really be curious to kind of implement Nikolai a little bit more heavily visually so I could kind of put myself in their shoes. So anyway, let me know if, down in the comments below if you would like to see more of this game, because I can pick up right from here. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought, and as always, I'm TC Robson. Stay obsessed.